Time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive High Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. And brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard. 4 locations: Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And we're back with the trainer Ian Grant, and this week we're getting a little philosophical this weekend. It's called the Pendulum of Reactivity. Oh, boy. So explain.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. After all these fun shows we got, now we got to get serious again.
Yeah. So I have a dry erase board in my training room at work, and I always, for dog owners that have a dog that, when they are barking, lunging, we consider that a forward movement, obviously. So if you kind of picture this, if you think of just a pendulum sitting still, in my opinion, dogs are born neutral. So where this pendulum is just standing, just hanging there straight, I would consider that neutral. Now, from there, normally what I find is, especially in the younger dogs or dogs that might be on the little skittish or nervous side, those dogs that need a little extra time or a little extra space, they're the ones that usually get pushed to the back a little bit, let's just say, whether it's another dog coming up to them where they want to retreat, they want to kind of avoid, flight mode kicks in, they want to move back, or it's the human that walks up and goes, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute, can I pet your dog?" And they just keep walking towards the dog. Meanwhile, the dog is scared, nervous, unsure. So now the pendulum starts to swing backwards, meaning they're no longer neutral because now dogs are scary, people are scary. I don't know how to handle this kind of situation.
I think it almost put Tika in that category right now, in the fact that she gets, with her being a 25-pound dog, dogs that are much bigger, she kind of hesitates, goes back. Whereas we've had dogs in the past that will go right up to them and say, "I want to play." But I think she would be in that backwards
probably
mode. Yeah.
Probably, absolutely. Yeah. Now, depending on the dog, this is where the decision is made. Because of, dogs having to stay on leashes, there's only so far back that they can go while they're hooked to their owner, meaning literally physically there's so far back that they can go. Or there's walls or there's fences. So for a dog that just over time, interaction after interaction, has to keep moving backwards and they get sick of it, pretty soon they're going to start figuring out, I've got to do something different because this isn't working. So now the pendulum starts to swing from the left, moving backwards, now past neutral, now starting to go forward. And this is where the dogs that start to lunge and show teeth and bark and growl, this is now their way of starting to move forward because they have wanted space for so long. And they haven't been listened to, if you will. The owner hasn't recognized it, so now it's up to them to move forward and now them to control the environment.
So now they're just taking it.
So you can see how this pendulum started from neutral, started swinging left, kind of backwards a little bit, and now over time, because of the dog, they just kept getting poked or petted or it just bothered, and now they start swinging the other way, all the way past neutral, back to the right and forward. And now you get this dog that can potentially become very, very aggressive. And this is where this reactivity comes into play because a lot of times I hear from dog owners, my dog lunged out of nowhere. Well,
you would say, it didn't come from nowhere.
Yeah, it didn't come from that place. This has been going on for quite some time. We just didn't recognize it.
I was going to say, the owners probably didn't realize it. So not that they're being neglectful, they just probably didn't catch it. Yeah.
So really the big part of it right now is if you have a dog that moves away from people or moves away from dogs, please listen to that dog. And really, I want you to speak up for that dog, advocate for that dog, to create space around the dog for them, because you don't want them to start moving forward in this process and thinking that they have to control these situations.
So what do you do? So what is the process for what they've gone the backward? So how do you get them to naturally come forward?
Well, we know that neutral is still in that brain somewhere.
Yeah.
It's not so far gone that we can't do anything about it.
So you got to locate it again.
Yeah. This may be neutral now. The dog can be at neutral when maybe there's a person that's 30 feet away. The dog's still in neutral. Great. Now we have to keep that in neutral and have the person maybe take 2 steps forward and just stop there for a second so the dog can get used to it. I may use food in this situation because I may just take a treat and wave it in front of the dog's nose to see if they are curious a little bit, to see if I can kind of direct them a little bit more left or right of the situation, just to get them not so focused on what they feel is a big threat walking right towards them.
But you don't want to force it either.
No.
You have to be delicate about it then.
Yeah, because, if you think about it, things have been forced on this dog quite a bit.
So you don't want to be forcing him in the other direction.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because we want them to go back to neutral, at least as close to it as possible. But we have to create curiosity. And a lot of times, the only thing that's going to help us is time and distance. And just being very patient, because for a long time, people have been getting into this dog space, and hasn't worked out well so far.
Thank you, Dr. Ian, for that perspective today.
You're very, very welcome. It's a good visual for people to understand how it works.
I can see that, yeah. Back with our question from the doggy bag in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
Roaming is a Los Angeles-based premium lifestyle brand that is motivated by nature. Roaming features high-quality, earth-friendly dog products made from renewable and natural materials like their bio-based and 100% compostable biodegradable dog poop bags. These bags really are awesome. I've been using their bags for a few months now, and I love the durability, the way they feel, and the fact that they are good for the earth. They also have a special discount for our listeners. Use code VermontDog to get 20% off your first purchase, including 20% off the first 3 orders if you sign up for one of their poop bag subscriptions. They also have some beautiful leather leashes made right here in the USA. You can check them out at roaming.com. That's ROMNG.com. Are you looking for gear that can keep up with your active and adventurous dog? Look no further than Synology Warehouse. They specialize in equipping the modern canine with distinguished, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon. From premium collars and leashes to rugged outdoor gear, they have everything you need to keep your dog comfortable and safe no matter where your adventures take you. I've been using their Biothane slip leashes for months now, and I love them. They have a nice feel, a good grip, and they clean very easily. Use coupon code Vermont to receive 10% off your purchase. Head over to Synology Warehouse on Etsy today and give your dog the gear they deserve. Synology Warehouse, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon.
Back with Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. Find out more about his facility and programs by going to vermontdogboardingandbehavior.com. And the question today, Ian, is we don't crate our dog, but when we leave the house, we block off the mudroom area for her. Is that okay? So are they trying to make that as a substitute for crating? And is that a good idea?
I've heard people do this with their kitchen because it tends to be, more tile. So obviously if the dog goes to the bathroom, it's not on a carpet.
So in lieu of putting him in a crate, you mean?
Yeah. I don't have a problem with this. As long as there's nothing that the dog can get into and there haven't been, bad behaviors, there hasn't been any chewing, destruction, going to the bathroom, any of that stuff. I'm totally fine with it. I think the mistake is made when the mistake is made, it's happening because we've given them too much freedom. And if this is the next step, if you will, from a crate to a mudroom area to make sure, the dog's been okay in the crate and no accidents while we're gone for a couple of hours and that's been happening for months, then great. If you want to graduate to the next area of just, okay, now the dog has, 20 square feet to move around in or something bigger, then so be it. Just take your time, and we don't have to look for anything huge from our dog where they do this one day and it's great. Now let's just give them the whole house.
Right, and we know where that goes.
Yes, and we're up in kids' rooms and toys or gloves or hats. And that
but the dog should be crate trained before you do the mudroom situation. It shouldn't be the other way. It shouldn't be a mudroom and forget about the crate.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm always, as a trainer, I'm always going to lean on the side of the crate.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's not going to go along with what Ian thinks.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. At least this person has the right idea. They're just, containing the dog into a certain area for what they're allowed to access to. And that's great. I have no problem with that. At least we're teaching something here.
Yeah, because it almost defeats the purpose of the crate then, too. Almost.
Yeah, it can. Absolutely can.
Yeah. If you have a question for Ian, you can email him directly to info@vermontdogboardingandbehavior.com. Next week, the topic is place command for duration, which means to you and I?
Your dog being on a place, a bed, on their bed for a certain length of time and what we're hoping to accomplish with it.
Okay, so they shouldn't be there for a long period? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's different schools of thought, so I thought we'd kind of cover both ends of it,
All
as
right,
always.
so we'll be going back to school next week.
Yes.
On Talking Dogs, brought to you by Guys Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland LaJoy, and we are Talking Dogs.